What if you could review an NFL contract the same way a sports agent or a team GM would using Claude Cowork legal plugin? I'm about to do exactly that with Arian Foster's real Houston Texans contract. $28 million in base salary, $12 million signing bonus, and a stack of clauses from no trade to injury guarantees. We will use the contract review skill from the player's side and then turn the tables and analyze the contract from the GM perspective. So let's talk about what's actually in this deal. Arian Foster signed a 5-year contract with the Houston Texans on March 6, 2012, under the 2011 CBA. On the surface, it looks straightforward. $28 million in base salary, a $12 million signing bonus, up to $2.5 million in roster bonuses. Total potential value, $43.5 million. But here's the thing about NFL contracts. The headline number is never the real number. The guaranteed money, the bonus proration schedule, the injury clauses, the conduct language, that's where the actual leverage lives. A player's agent is looking at this contract asking, how much is truly protected? The team's front office is looking at the same contract asking, how do we get out of this if things go wrong? And that's exactly what makes this the perfect contract to demo what I'm about to show you. Now, normally to get this kind of dual-sided analysis, you'd need a sports attorney, maybe a cap specialist, and a lot of billable hours. But I'm going to do it right now using Claude Cowork with the legal plugin. Specifically, I'm using a skill called Review Contract. What this skill does is take any contract, in our case, Arian Foster's NFL player contract, and review it against an organization's negotiation playbook. It flags deviations from your standard terms, generates redline suggestions, and gives you a full business impact analysis. Basically, it does what a legal team does in a week, in about 60 seconds. Open Claude Cowork, select the legal plugin from the dropdown, and choose the contract review skill. From there, follow Claude's guided prompts and select Upload a contract file, then drag in the NFL contract to begin the analysis. So for this first run, I'm going to look at this from the player's perspective. Specifically, I'm stepping into the role of Foster's agent. My job is to protect my client, so I want to know, where is Foster exposed? Where are the risks buried in this contract that could hurt him down the road? On the right side of the screen, you can follow Claude's progress in real time, starting with extracting the contract terms, all the way through to producing the final review document. Claude Cowork is generating a full contract review memorandum, the kind a seasoned sports agent or attorney would produce heading into NFL negotiations. The memo opens with an executive summary and then the red flags, the critical issues that should have any agent up at night. Claude flagged 4 red items. These are the sections where the player is most exposed. Let me walk you through each one. Section 33, $5 million that looks guaranteed. It's not. There's a whole list of outs buried in there. Retirement, suspension, even a vague material breach clause. Any one of those triggers and the guarantee disappears. Claude's fix? Make it unconditional. Narrow the defaults to felony conviction only. Section 34, similar problem. Only 3.25 of the 5.25 million is actually guaranteed. That's nearly $2 million just hanging out there with no protection. Same broad defaults apply. Section 31, this one's different. The club can convert any year's salary into a signing bonus whenever they want. No consent needed. Claude called it entirely one-sided. Hard to argue with that. Section 11, skill termination. The club gets to decide if Foster's skill has declined. No criteria, no independent eval, no appeal. You combine that with those conditional guarantees and the player is wide open. And here's where it really hits home, the financial exposure analysis. Claude calculated that if all the recommended redlines are accepted, Foster's guaranteed compensation jumps from roughly $12.5 million to approximately $41 million, full base salary through 2013 unconditionally guaranteed, plus the signing bonus. That's a shift from 28.7% guaranteed to 94% guaranteed through the first 2 contract years. And then the bottom line recommendation. This contract, as currently drafted, significantly favors the club. The player should not sign without converting those salary guarantees to unconditional and getting consent rights on automatic conversions. That's what the review contract skill does. Deviations, red lines, business impact, in under a few minutes. Now let me flip it and run the team side. I'm going back into Claude Cowork, selecting the legal plugin again, and this time I'm choosing the same review contract skill. But now I'm running it from the team's perspective. The Houston Texans front office. Same contract, completely different lens. And look what comes back. A full contract review memorandum, marked privileged and confidential. Right away, the severity summary is different. 3 red items, 5 yellow, 10 green. The player side had 4 reds. The team side has 3. But they're flagging completely different risks. Claude flagged 3 red items for the Texans front office. These are the sections where the club is most exposed. Section 4, signing bonus repayment. $12.5 million in signing bonus money. Last installment not due until March 2013. If they cut Foster before it's fully amortized, they eat the entire remaining proration as one accelerated cap hit. And arbitration historically sides with the player when documentation is weak. Claude's fix? Lock down the proration schedule in a side letter with explicit acceleration triggers. Section 15, injury guarantee. Foster is a running back, most punishing position in football. And this contract doesn't give the Texans an independent medical evaluation right or define what physically unable to perform actually means. If Foster says he can't play, the club pays. Claude's fix? Add an IME right and define that language with specific functional standards. Section 11, player conduct. Looks strong on paper, but it's built on sand. It references the commissioner's conduct policy, which the league can rewrite whenever they want. After Brady, after Deflategate, we know how that goes. Worse, there's no tie between guaranteed money and specific conduct triggers. Claude's fix? Spell out material breach examples, tie forfeiture to conviction, not accusation, and escalate consequences from arrest to charge to conviction. The business impact summary breaks it down to 3 financial risks. 1. Dead cap exposure. Cut Foster early, absorb millions in accelerated cap charges, killing roster flexibility. 2. Injury liability. Full salary obligation during injury with no second opinion right. Dangerous for a running back. 3. Conduct risk. The commissioner's policy can change any time, leaving the club uncertain whether they can void guarantees if something happens off the field. And here's the bottom line from the team side. The contract is standard for its era and CBA compliant, but the Texans' 3 biggest exposures are dead cap, from the signing bonus proration, injury liability without independent evaluation rights, and conduct risk tied to a policy the league can rewrite at any time. Claude's recommendation: tighten internal documentation, model cap scenarios proactively, and build stronger injury conduct and recoupment language into future deals. If you want to try the review contract skill on your own deals, whether it's sports, real estate, SaaS, employment, everything is linked in the description. Hit subscribe if you want to see more breakdowns like this, and drop a comment. Whose contract should I review next? See you in the next video.